Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Rhonda and this is a little bit of everything homestead. Today I thought I would bring you out and do a little tour of the yard in March. Today was a beautiful spring day. Everything is melting. The geese are flying over. The sandhill cranes are singing in the back. The sun is starting to set and the wind has calmed down a little bit. So I thought I would do just like a quick walkthrough and let you see how everything looks in March. So I'm going to flip you around. I'm not going to do a ton of editing and I'll just talk my way through it. Here is all the wood still in the driveway that Scott is going to use to finish the deck. Hopefully at the end of the month when he goes on spring break, we'll get that finished. The driveway garden is looking pretty bleak, you guys. It looks so empty. Now that Scott went through and cut down all the brush and all the box elder trees, I can't wait to get in new fencing so I can start filling in these gaps with some trees. I think I want to do some kind of like arborvitae or what is that one called? It's like a fern. I can't remember the name. I'll put it on the screen if I remember. So the driveway garden is looking pretty beat up. Through the winter, all the pine cones fell, branches everywhere, little snippets of pine trees from the squirrels. So once the weather is done snowing and done being winter, I will come through and I will start spring cleanup. I don't want to get started too early. On days like today, it gives me the itch, but I know winter is going to come around at least one more time because, oh, listen, let me see. Oh, look. Can you see him? So cool. I know Wisconsin winter is going to come and rear its ugly face at least one more time. We will get a snowfall at least once, if not twice, because we are in the middle of March. So the last 2 years, we got a snowfall in May and we got a snowfall in April. So I don't want to get started on spring cleanup too early, even though days like today gives me the itch of let's get in the gardens. I can't. So I have to be very patient. Well, hello, little kitty. Hello there, little kitty. That is No Tail. She came with the property. She is one of the outside cats. We call her No Tail because the first year we moved in, her tail got frostbite on it so bad that it turned black and it fell off. So that is why we call her No Tail. Across from the driveway garden is like a little 2 rows, like a tiny little gully of pine trees. We will get all of that stuff cleaned up this summer and get that area all cleaned up so it looks nice and clean with the green grass, and it will just kind of be a nice little patch when you pull into the driveway. At the end of the driveway is the barn. This tree right here, Scott is going to cut down, and over on the other side of the shed there is a couple of more trees. We will take those out. I would like to plant a couple of maple trees right here so in the fall you get that fall color and the sunset along the backdrop of the field. I think that would be so pretty. The barn over here on this little piece, this will be the same little hedgerow of arborvitaes or whatever kind of bush I decide to get, and this will be probably just grass. We'll clean up the bricks left over from the chimney, clean all that area up. I would like to utilize that greenhouse. It got pretty beat up in the tornadoes. When we had tornadoes 2 summers ago, the winds were so strong, they picked that up and they threw it into the hedgerow of pines that I had at the other house. So a couple of the panels broke. I would like to fix those and use those and use that little greenhouse in the garden if I can, maybe this year or next. We'll walk over here. Can you hear the geese? There are wild geese. Oh, can you see them flying? I don't know if you guys could see. I was going to zoom in, but then they took off too fast. They were on that. There's a pond here, the duck and the goose pond, and there's a pond back there. And they always come. We have a pair of wild geese that always come to this property in the spring, and they hatch out goslings. So I'm wondering if that was the pair. So cool. The sunset is beautiful tonight. All along here will be cleaned up. We will slowly make our way through the back of the barn. Underneath this little barn right here, it's kind of open. I would love to get some pigs and fence this area in and get some meat pigs. But that'll be in the future. There's so much cleanup here to do that we really have to take it one project at a time. Behind that fencing there, see how that's open? I would love to have some little pigs in there someday. And then we are walking to the back of the property. We started cleaning this up last year in the fall. We dug all those stones out of the DZ. There's Scott's tiny little wood crib. And then we started cleaning this area up back here for our trailers. That is the wood crib that Scott and I built. And it was full at one time, and we had so many fires this winter that we're almost down to the last row. Oh, it was so nice. All of this wood will be cleaned up, and then this area right here will be used for equipment and extra mowers, stuff like that. Here is the quack shack. The ducks are in there just fluttering around. I haven't let them out of the run yet because we still get sightings of the fox. So I'm afraid to let them out during the day when I can't be out here with them, because if a fox comes in, a duck will make a mighty nice meal for a hungry fox passing on through. So I don't dare let them out yet. Here is the hunk house. I let the geese out today because it was so beautiful out, and they were getting dirty, and their run is just a mud pit. So I let the geese out. They are bigger, so it would be harder for a fox to come in and take them. And plus, Blue is so loud, he would definitely let me know if there was an intruder. So I let them out just to splash around on the pond. The pond is starting to thaw. You can see the open water here and then the ice right there. They are loving it, digging around. They've been locked up all winter, so they are really enjoying some freedoms. He's gonna honk when I leave, and then you'll hear how loud he is. And their pen is just a mud pit. I feel so bad, but everything is thawing. And you can't, when you live on a farm, I don't think that you can really avoid it. And we'll walk back here. There's the pine trees. That is our canoe. We will store that up in the barn. An IBC tote that we store water in for the gardens in the summertime. These are the chicken tractors. Scott told me, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he ordered a bunch of meat chickens. So we will be cleaning out the garage and putting these in the garage, and we will have them for the meat chickens to grow up a little bit, and then they will come out onto the grass. That's where they will be living. Here is the DZ. Remember what this looked like when we first started cleanup? And now look at it. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have come so far in just the year that we have been here in cleaning up all the stuff that was left behind. One project at a time. We have a 5-year plan. So little by little, we are slowly making our way and turning this property into our dream homestead. And someday, all of this will be our garden. Back here somewhere, I would like to put a greenhouse, maybe a hoop house. Oh, it's a perfect spot for it. Back there is the pond. Scott was cleaning up all the willows over the weekend, and I am going to plant a bunch of native and wild flowers all along the shoreline to pretty it up. Back there is the fruit orchard, and maybe if the wildflowers take off and the orchard grows strong, we could get bees. We used to have bees at the other homestead, but they swarmed and they left. It was a really, really rainy season, and they got cooped up, and I think there were too many in the hive, and they swarmed. It was our first year with bees, and we had no idea what we were doing. Since then, we have learned, so they swarmed and left. We'll get more. Here is the chicken coop, and my girls, they will be moved soon, probably when Scott goes on spring break. We will move them to some fresh grass. And then this is the other side. There's some low spots in the ground, so water gathers. That is good information to know if you're planning on doing any kind of projects. You don't want standing water. This area right here will be our future burn pile. We'll have bonfires. And then we'll have a smaller little, like a fire pit, where if just Scott and I want to come out on a Friday night and roast marshmallows or have a couple of beers and sit around a fire, we'll have a smaller one. But this one will be the big one that we will burn trees and limbs and all of that kind of stuff and have a bigger fire. That'll be located right there. Here is another pond on the property. In the nice weather for the last 2 days, Scott has been out trimming up all the apple trees. He is working so hard on getting them all trimmed. These apple trees have been here for 25 years.
Yeah, not so much this one, but those over there are probably closer to 35.
And they haven't been trimmed probably one time.
Yeah.
So Scott is going through and trimming them all up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side of the property. And I don't think that they were ever really trimmed. The previous owners were not big on doing stuff like that. So he has gone through and cut, oh gosh, 50% of the trees. But that will help them restore energy and grow and bring better fruit. Plus, these are all the branches. They were up so high, we couldn't pick any of the apples. So he gave the trees a good haircut. And you guys, you know, since all these branches, Scott in the last 2 days has been cutting down these branches. We have deer on the property. So the deer have been coming in. That is all deer poop. And there are piles and piles and piles. The deer have been coming in and they've been eating off the tips of these apple branches. They will come in and chew off the buds and have themselves a little snack. You see? They're getting chewed off. So we have deer poop everywhere in this yard, which is okay. It doesn't hurt anything. And if they want to come in and have a snack, that's fine. I would rather have them come in the yard and snack on the apple trees than snack on something else and then it not be good for them, you know. Back here are the raised beds we put in. Scott planted all of these beds with asparagus. We have regular asparagus and purple asparagus. So those are on the back of our property. So if we spin back around, we are at the tail end of the apple orchard by the house. There is the playground for the daycare. And then that is the house right there. This is the east side of the house. So it is the side that is the wettest. The water really gathers down this side. It rolls down the hill from the house, I think. So now we are moving into the back of the house, into the backyard. Scott started building the deck when it was nicer out before winter really hit, and then the cold weather got him, so he had to stop. But he got this far. I think we will probably finish the deck up when he is on spring break at the end of the month. So that will be a wonderful addition. We can finally use our patio doors. And this garage here was the garage that was here when we bought the property. Hopefully this year, sometime, either this spring or this fall, we will be tearing that down and building a new garage so it matches the house. And I think we have gone full circle. That is the back door. That's where we started. So that is the tour of the property. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight and doing a little tour of the property in March/spring. I really liked hanging out with you guys. I hoped you liked the movie, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.